AITA for bringing up my aunt's secret wedding at Thanksgiving dinner after she shamed my sister. I 30M have a younger sister, 27F, who recently got engaged to her boyfriend of 5 years. They've been living together for 3 years, and while they're happy, my extended family, particularly my Aunt Linda, has been very vocal about how improper it is to live together before marriage. Aunt Linda is my mom's older sister and considers herself the moral authority of the family. Every holiday gathering, she finds a way to lecture someone about their life choices, and this year, she had my sister in her sights. We were all gathered at my parents' house for Thanksgiving, about 20 of us, including aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents. Everything was going fine until dinner started. That's when Aunt Linda decided to make a speech about how a good woman respects herself and waits for marriage, and how she hoped my sister would set a better example for future generations. My sister looked mortified. Her fiancé was visibly uncomfortable. I could see my mom giving my aunt a silent please not now look, but Aunt Linda wasn't backing down. I, however, had the perfect response. So with my most neutral tone, I said, "Aunt Linda, didn't you and Uncle Dave get married after only 3 months of dating? And did Grandma tell us once that you two had a private ceremony before your actual wedding?" The room went completely silent. Because here's the thing, Aunt Linda and Uncle Dave did, in fact, have a courthouse wedding months before their big church wedding. They just never told anyone until my grandmother let it slip a few years ago. Aunt Linda turned bright red and stammered something about not discussing private matters at the dinner table. I simply replied, "Oh, I just figured since you're so passionate about proper marriage timelines, you'd want to share your story." The conversation changed immediately. After dinner, Aunt Linda pulled me aside, furious that I had humiliated her in front of the family. I calmly told her that if she ever shamed my sister again, I would be more than happy to go into full detail about her secret wedding, down to the date and courthouse location. She hasn't said a word about my sister's engagement since. So AITA. Top 3 comments. Comment 1's 312 thumbs up. In TA, this was an incredibly effective way to shut down hypocrisy without resorting to insults or unnecessary conflict. Instead of engaging in a debate, you simply presented the facts, and the way Aunt Linda reacted tells me she knew she had no defense. If she truly believed in the principles she was pushing, she would have no problem being open about her own past. But as always, the people who are the most judgmental tend to have their own secrets they would rather not acknowledge. Your sister must have been relieved that you stepped in. No one wants to feel like they're being publicly judged by family, especially over something that is widely accepted in today's society. Aunt Linda had no issue embarrassing her in front of everyone, yet she expects her own past to be off limits. If she cannot take criticism, she should not be so eager to dish it out. Comment 2, 874 thumbs up. In TA, this was handled with an impressive level of restraint. You could have easily called her out more aggressively, but instead you let the facts speak for themselves. Aunt Linda clearly operates under the assumption that her past mistakes don't count, but everyone else's choices are fair game for scrutiny. That kind of selective morality is frustrating, and it is satisfying to see someone push back against it in such a composed manner. It is also interesting how quickly she tried to shut the conversation down once the topic turned to her own history. If she was truly confident in her stance, she should have no issue explaining why her situation was different. The fact that she couldn't even attempt a defense shows that her outrage is not about moral values, it is about control. She enjoys feeling superior and using shame as a tool, but the moment she loses that power, she retreats. Comment 3, 205 thumbs up. In TA, hypocrisy like this is infuriating, and you handled it exactly as you should have. Your aunt was completely comfortable humiliating your sister, but the moment the conversation shifted to her own past, she suddenly decided that personal matters should not be discussed at the dinner table. That kind of double standard is why people resent unsolicited moral lectures from family members. This is an example of why standing up to hypocrisy is important. If no one had said anything, your sister would have had to sit through yet another holiday gathering being shamed over a completely personal decision. Now, at the very least, your aunt knows that there are consequences to her behavior. She is not being silenced, she is being held to the same standard she tried to impose on others. If she truly believes that marriage timelines are a critical moral issue, then she should be able to defend her own history just as easily as she criticizes others. The fact that she chose to immediately retreat tells me everything I need to know.